So next up we have Craig and Yanan from Lincoln University with Primo VE configuring normalization rules for external resources. So if this is a follow-up to the session they did last year. So Yanan and Craig are both digital services analysts at Lincoln University in New Zealand. Yanan is a highly experienced librarian who has a passion for the integration of library systems, and Craig has an extensive background in library reference and customer service. Both are relatively new to Primo VE and are keen to share their PrimoVE implementation journey with the community. So take it away, guys.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Just let me know if you can't hear me. Ena iwi huine tina koto katoa ko yanan aho kiti mahio ki ti fari wanaka o auraki tina koto katoa. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today for an update on the PrimoVE, our journey on how to create normalization rules. My name is Yanan Zhao, and this is my colleague Craig Murray. We're both digital service analysts at Lincoln University in New Zealand. So last year Craig and I did a brief talk on configuring normalization rules within PrimoVE. Just a quick recap. As you can see from the first screenshot, that was taken from our previous Primo back office, which provided a list of ways to transforming XML and DC data. The second screenshot was an example of the normalization rules that Craig and I created in PrimoVE, and we had to write all those code from scratch. So as a result, we feel like we are like a hacker and not very experienced one. So today, I would like to present just a brief talk outlining the work that we have been done in the last year since our last presentation, including an online hackathon and our collaboration with ELUNA Primo Working Group Normalization Rule Subgroup. So for the rest of this presentation, I will refer it as the ELUNA subgroup. The collaboration with the subgroup has led to the creation of an online repository in GitHub and also a wiki page, which Craig will give us a demo later. I just here want to spend a couple of minutes to talk about the online hackathon. So the objective of the online hackathon was to produce a list of XML normalization rules for external data source and make them available freely to ELMA and Primo communities so that XML normalizations can be applied without expert knowledge. Everyone was invited, regardless their level of experience. It was held last year in November online. We had about 13 participants from New Zealand, Australia, and US. The way we run the hackathon is that we started with an editable document which listed a number of scenarios that require normalization rules. We also made that document available a few days after our hackathon to allow additional edit for anyone who could not attend. What the hackathon hasn't and has achieved? Well, even although all of us who attended the hackathon was eager and keen to come up with normalization rules for those scenarios, but because most of us are not programmers, we were only able to tackle a couple of scenarios, but not the rest. However, what the hackathon has achieved from the feedback we gathered from the participants is that it created a sense of community and that we are not alone in not knowing how to create XML normalizations for PrimoVE. For Craig and I, this hackathon also leads to the collaboration with ELUNA subgroup, which I'll talk a little bit more in my next slide. So as previously mentioned, the collaboration with ELUNA subgroup has resulted in the creation of a GitHub repository. and that repository is still working in progress. I'll get Craig share the link to the repository in the chat. Thank you. And we invite feedback and collaborations from the community, and the cases that were identified in last year's hackathon have been converted into issues in the GitHub repository, and the hope that we can get further help from the community. I also listed the members on this slide, so if you have any question or you would like to know more about how to contribute to the repository, please feel free to get in touch with us. I also want to make one more note before I hand it over to Craig, is that the ELUNA subgroup has overlap with the Primo back office to Primo VE feature alignment project. The main difference is that the ELUNA subgroup is to work with existing Primo VE infrastructure, where the Primo back office to VE alignment project more of a overall piece with potentials for new development opportunities. But I'm sure we'll learn more about it from Stacey's talk tomorrow. Now I'm just going to hand it over to Craig to give us a demo of that GitHub repository and the wiki page.
Thank you, Yanan. Ko Craig Murray, aho, kite mahi au kite whare wanaka awaraki. So thank you, and as Yanan has alluded to, there is a brand new GitHub repository, and that is the front page. And what we've done is we've created, well, the community has created a repository, kind of a clearinghouse for XML normalization codes. Now, if we've got time, do a live demo of the site. But first, I thought I'd take you through a real live example of how powerful the community can be. Most of our community watching this will be familiar with Ostlang code. Now, for those who aren't, the Ostlang code is, amongst other things, a controlled vocabulary for Australian Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander languages. Now there's over 1,200 different codes in the Ostlang code, and Ex Libris has made that available. So one of the questions we got when we did the online hackathon was around Ostlang codes. How do you make, if your external resource, your external repository actually does contain Ostlang codes, how do you normalize it to show the language? So there's three complications depending on the platform. As you can see, you might get the Ostlang code in various formats. However, PrimoVE has a specific format with a precursor that you need to have. And if you look at the Ostlang codes themselves, they can be as simple as an alphanumeric 1, 2, or something with optional digits or numbers at the end. So what a normalization should do is we should end up with something that looks like that. Now I'm going to jump out of here, and hopefully you can see my screen if I go that way, and take you through to our repository. Now, as it happens, somebody has done the Ostlang code normalization. With the GitHub repository, we normally start with the code that says, well, this is the examples that the code was based on. And as we scroll down, I'm just going to grab this code. And that's how it should do. And that's the fallback we're using with the repository. Now, just to test this code, and I'm not going to go into how we do this, but to test the code, we go into the metadata editor in ELUNA, rules, and I have already got the code sitting here, and I'm going to test it. Now, the interesting thing about OAI PMH feed is it is actually XML, so you can do XML transformations with it, the limited ones that are available. And we upload the code, and I run this test. So this is the DC format that's coming from whatever repository you've got it in. And that is the format that Ex Libris PrimoVE requires it to show the specific language. Now, that particular code was written by a member of the community. I'm going back to our repository, and there's other bits of code there that is free. Just grab what you want, because PrimoVE is out there. So we've got this community of coders that are willing to do some of the work, but what we've also got is a wiki. So the discovery import profiles are the code that we've actually got. You can track the issues, who asked the question, what examples were given, that sort of stuff, and the responses. And of course, the community member that actually wrote the code. We've got a number of resources sitting here. We should actually add the 4 ELUNA presentations on this topic here as well. That was 2 weeks ago. Scrolling down, obviously the Ex Libris documentation and some tutorials about XPath and which we actually found quite useful when we were learning coding. How did we get here? Why did we get here? And this is the known issues with the discovery import. PrimoVE only supports XPath version 1. Now, the full native regex is only available in XPath version 2. So we're limited with the regex inquiries that we can create. And at the moment, I'm not aware of any iterative looping process. So normalization rules have to be repeated for each instance of the same tag. We're running kind of out of time, so I'm just going to skip the next 2. That's just in case we've got some tips for that. But what I really would like to leave you with is this is a community resource. If you have a need to pick up the code that's there, just go ahead and grab it. If you have an existing rule and a use case that you would like to share, create an issue. If you would like the community to solve an issue, create an issue. So create a new issue, and it goes on to the issues page here. Now, we preceded a couple of issues, and if you think you know how to answer them, click on one and just write us a comment and sign into comment. So it's a community resource built around community, and we hope you enjoy it. So what's next for Yanan and I and the community members? Just keep promoting the GitHub repository, encourage more community engagement, and if you have any questions, contact us, or better still, create an issue on the GitHub, and then the whole community can actually see and help and respond. So thank you for your time. On behalf of Yanan and I, ngā mihi nui.
Thank you both very much. There's no questions in the chat for you, which means you've covered everything that everybody wanted to ask, clearly. So well done.
Thank you.